Hello YouTube, I'm Almacov. Welcome to my channel. This is more or less just a place for me to talk about anything I like. I am, for instance, very fond of old books. So this channel may serve as a venue for me to show you things you may not have access to. Either reading excerpts from a book, or in some way discussing its history. Now, one resource I point pretty much anyone who shows a flicker of interest in old books to is, Archive.org. It's absolutely fantastic and will possibly eat up a fair bit of hard drive space, but it's very much worth it. They have a tremendous amount of material, whether you're looking for old books or old movies. Good stuff. Not every book I own is from the 1800s, though, and I'm not going to limit myself to the really old stuff, so you'll see a variety of vintages, and a reasonable variety of interests, too. And occasionally, even when I am looking at something old or classic, I'll be looking at it in a new light. Often, this new light will be filtered through the perspective of gaming. Games, particularly pen and paper role-playing games, are the reason I started this channel. As special interest groups on the net go, gaming probably has one of the larger presences. And while most of that net presence is probably attributable to electronic gaming, there are still some very active and interesting pen and paper communities. Tabletop gamers, whether they're board gamers or role-playing gamers, or card game aficionados of varying sorts. There's a lot out there. Well, I will probably touch on electronic gaming, and I may even go into board games. The main draw for me was always the pen and paper RPG community on YouTube. There are some really great people around these ways. And just this great flow of ideas and opinions, sometimes very strong ones, and just tips and tricks and discussions, all revolving around role-playing games. And occasionally even some really really enjoyable little community activities. So it's likely that most of my videos will still relate to RPGs in one way or another. There are still a fair number of web resources outside of YouTube I'd like to share with you guys, so here goes. First off, I'd like to recommend checking out pennyarcade.com occasionally. Particularly their Penny Arcade TV,
The program Shut Up and Sit Down is a really great way to introduce yourself to new board games you may not have heard of. And Extra Credits has a really insightful weekly look at different gaming-related topics, mostly to do with game design, development, or industry issues.
On the RPG side of things, I would definitely recommend checking out a few different forums. One of them, RPG.net, has a really wide variety of games talked about on their forums, and they also have a pretty good collection of reviews if you're looking for something interesting to pick up. There's also enworld.org, which is more D20 or D&D centric, but their community is fantastic. I've been a user there for almost a decade, and there are some really great folks there. Another resource you may want to check out is rpggeek.com, which is sort of a sibling site to the more popular boardgamegeek.com, and they have a really great database with reviews and information on different games. So that should give you a vague, preliminary look at the sort of things this channel will contain. Whether it stretches beyond books and beyond gaming, well, it's entirely possible. I can't tell at this point. I appreciate all of you that are waiting and watching, though.
In the long run, I'm not sure how this channel will shape up or transform. Thank you for joining me. Looking forward to seeing where